the three main benefits to semen retention. So throughout the prolonged period of time that I've been on this practice, these are the three main things that have stood out to me that I could say I can clearly see are these are clear benefits that I can identify. There's a lot of other things people say that semen retention can do, like packing on more muscle mass, deeper voice, skin, get more women, all these sort of things. But you can never really identify and prove them things because there's so many different subtle things what are going on in the background. So yeah, I'm going to dive straight into the three main benefits. And this is the one I feel like, for me, this is the thing that I recognize the most. So out of everything, this is the number one thing that I recognize on semen retention for me. So, and that's your spiritual gifts coming more online. So for me, I feel way more tapped in when I'm doing semen retention. And it's very hard because when you say more tapped in, a lot of what I'm speaking about is things that are going on behind the veil. So you cannot see them with the human eye. But in terms of being more tapped in spiritually, how that would be experienced is more synchronicities, speeding up manifestations, like synchronicities off the chart. Certain patterns you begin to recognize in your life you may potentially not seen before, so your pattern recognition becomes on point. It's almost like the best way I can envision it is, say for example you're playing this game of life and you're on the chessboard making the moves. A lot of the time we end up being the pawn. So we're the piece on the board that is moving around the board. Whereas when you go deep into semen retention, you can zoom out from a bird's eye view and become the player that is moving the pawn. Okay, so that's the best way I can kind of see. You expand your awareness and you get a deeper clarity, and yeah, you can just be tapped in and see things you wouldn't normally see. And that's from, synchronicities, pattern recognition, which are two very, very important things, but also things in other people. Like you can kind of see subtle things in people that you may have not seen before. Your intuition is just like razor sharp. You can read things and read people way more than you could before. And maybe that's coming down to just personal experience from myself and my own genuine spiritual evolution, just through, well, we're all evolving at the end of the day. Every single day you're evolving. It's just a law of nature, evolution. We are always evolving every single day, even if we're not taking the action steps to evolve. Yeah, if you're not growing, you're dying, they say, but there's still going to be, you're always going to be pushed in to the direction of evolution. So if you're on this path and you are practicing semen retention, then this is going to accelerate that evolution tenfold. That is one thing I can honestly say. In comparison to throughout when I've been doing it, when I've had time on and time off, that's the thing I recognise the most. I feel like I've kind of lost a spiritual connection to a degree when I'm releasing quite often. So that kind of makes me feel like I'm once again, I go back from being the guy moving the chess pieces on the board to being the pawn in the game. And that's a scary place to be. When you lose your connection spiritually and lose your connection to source, you lose faith, and then you just become just like the rest of the mainstream collective, just lost inside your mind, thinking that this is all there is, and just kind of lost navigating this human game, and everything you experience is way more intense when you're fully consumed and immersed in the physical play. So being on semen retention definitely amplifies your spiritual gifts. You can say things like telepathy and all that sort of stuff, but I mean, telepathy for me is not like hearing words or reading other people's thoughts. Just being able to read people. Like I can look at you and just know instantly what you're thinking and feeling just by your mannerisms and your body language and the way you're moving and the way you're positioned and the way you're breathing and just the subtle gestures on your face, the way the muscles, micro muscles, your brain is scanning and picking all these things up. So when you're on semen retention, this gets dialed in, it gets ramped up a little bit more, and your vision becomes a little bit sharper and you become a little bit clearer. And do you know what I think this actually comes down to and why it does this? Yeah, there might be some energetical, metaphysical thing going on in the background which amplifies your intuition. But I actually think it is because, think about it like this from a biological standpoint. When you're retaining, you're abstaining from the act of sex, which is the act of reproduction. So this is the lust that we're all trying to combat. So when you're in pursuit of a woman, for example, for reproduction purposes, then your brain is hardwired to be razor sharp and focused on the pursuit of that woman. That's why we find it super duper easy to chase women, because biologically we're hardwired to reproduce. So that's what lust is all about. That's the urge to reproduce. We're trying to transcend by raising our consciousness and practicing semen retention to try and transcend the lustful primal behaviors. But going back to my point, the reason why I think you can see subtle gestures and things on a deeper level is because your intuition's ramped up, because you've got the influx of energy, but more so because from a hunting standpoint, that biological drive for you to pursue something. To give you an example. You abstain from something. If you abstain from food, you're way more sharp and way more faster when it comes to pursuing food. Say for example, if I didn't make you eat for a week and then I chucked you in or 2 weeks, if it's starve you for 2 weeks and then throw you out in the wild and say, right, you the only way you're going to survive now is if you get your own food. You're going to be sharp, you're going to be on point. That hunter mindset is going to get activated. And the same applies from this. So when you're abstaining, the hunter mindset gets activated. So you become more sharp, you become more alert, you become more aware of your surroundings, you're reading things and picking up on things a little bit more because you're abstaining. So the desire is becoming stronger. And the hunter mindset, which is the survival mindset, which comes down to, the women reproduction, but also for survival as well. So when you abstain from these things and when you put these things off, it gets ramped up and even more. So you become even sharper because you're looking for distinctions. You're looking for little things you can pick on that you can act upon to fulfill that desire for reproduction. That's my 2 cents. Whether that's what's happening or not, I cannot prove that. Whether you agree with that is totally up to you. So the spiritual gifts definitely start to come more online, and that can amplify your life tenfold. I mean, don't get too caught up in like the synchronicities and the angel numbers and all that carry on. That's for batty boys. Just be locked in and understand that when you're in alignment and understand when you're not, and looking for the signs and the feedback from the universe, because it's just all it is when you're getting signs externally, it's just a reflection of your internal state. Anyway, the law of correspondence, as above so below. So when you're seeing something reflected on your external, I just look at it as like a sort of gesture that I'm in alignment, and it's something I need to pay more I need to be more aware of, I need to pay closer attention to. So always looking for them signs and reading that. Secondly, the second point I'd say is, got a little quiff going on here, mate. Detachment from women. So I'd say for me personally, everyone's different. So just navigate or at least feel into the experience on your own personal level, and know when you experience specific things based upon the time you return. But for me, the 2-3 week mark, after I've surpassed that, I started to become way more detached around women. The pursuit of women becomes way less. There's not as big a drive to be pursuing sex with women. I become way more laid back. That pull to be constantly thinking and desire and like lusting over women kind of dies down a little bit. It's still there. It never goes. Now, that's one thing I will say. You're never going to get rid of that. That's a hardwired into you through. It's the main reason you're here. Like after millions of thousands of generations, hundreds of thousands of generations, you're here because of this primal urge that we're speaking about and we're trying to overcome. So be grateful for it. Don't suppress it, because you wouldn't be here if it weren't for this urge of reproduction. Think how many times the men could have not acted upon the lust. I mean, if you could look at it like this, and the chances of you not being here, if someone didn't have sex with one person, if you're looking at it from a biological standpoint. So this is hard. This is encoded into our DNA. So we're not trying to get rid of it. We're trying to transcend it and operate above it, be aware of it, but be able to navigate life with it and not let it run us. We rule it and we use it as fuel to direct our mission, our purpose, but we don't let it rule us. This is what this is all about. So the desperation kind of evaporates to be pursuing sex with women. You're still attracted to them, there's still the urge there, but you can navigate it and channel it and redirect it a hell of a lot better once you pass that 2-3 week mark. And that for me is, it's amazing. When I feel like I'm being pulled around by women, it's just, life's chaos, man. Like you can't think straight, you can't focus on a mission, you can't move your life forward when you're constantly lusting over women and chasing women around, and they don't like that either. You're just like a puppy dog, like every other guy in society. If you're watching this video, hats off to you, man, because you focus on leveling up your life, and that is a good thing. So even if you've not getting it perfect, be grateful at the fact that, or give yourself the appreciation that the fact that you are pursuing this knowledge, because this isn't a regular thing. Because you're consuming the content, you might look like everyone's doing it, but it's not. This isn't common practice. Not a lot of people even know about this. So the fact that you're educating yourself about this and actually taking action on this practice, you fucking hell, you light years ahead. Like, the people don't know about this. This is the ancient practice that has been dug up and it's now kind of trending. But besides that, yeah, people don't, like, ask your dad. Go and ask your dad if he knows about semen retention. I'm telling you now, he'll probably give you a slap. If I said that to my dad, I'd get a clip. So yeah, look at it from that way. If you like, you're in a small minority, a small percentile of men on this planet. You're in a small percentile if you are even thinking about doing this. So yeah, hats off. Give yourself the credit. So yeah, you'll be thinking way less about, and like, whilst all these guys are looks maxing, trying to look good, which, let me just tell you, women aren't that asked about that anyway. You're working on your energy. Whilst they're looks maxing, painting the toenails and getting the fancy haircuts, you're working on your energy, bro. This is what attracts the women, your energy. Nothing to do with what you're wearing, what you're driving, or how you look. It's your energy, the presence you carry when you walk in a room. And by becoming more detached and by becoming less pulled by this feminine energy, you then become more magnetic to women. That's just how it works as a byproduct, because you're not really chasing anymore, and they can pick up on that. They sense that. And because you're not chasing, you, there's no desperation. They feel more comfortable and calm around you because you're emanating that masculine presence, because that's what they want. Men don't chase women around. Masculinity is not chasing women. It attracts women through being rooted and grounded in that energy. You become a magnet through being just simply detached and being more focused on your mission. Women just come around. They will be drawn to that because that's what they want. They want a man that doesn't actually want them. Of course you want them. You're always going to want a woman, but doesn't need them. They want a man that doesn't need them. They might not admit that, but that's the true reality of it. Because if you sell your purpose and mission out for a woman, you end up losing both. So you should always prioritize the mission above the woman. And if she's the right woman, she'll be able to stand side by side and respect you on that. She'll be walking the path with you, cheering you on, pushing you in the right direction, not taking energy from you. She should be secure enough in her energy to be able to allow you to pursue that mission without trying to take from you all the time or lean on you emotionally all the time. So beware of that as well, and don't be little puppy dogs chasing women around, and put your boundaries up, man. Don't tolerate bullshit. Just because they're a woman and they're pretty doesn't mean they can walk up and down, walk on you and take the piss and emotionally project all the time. So yeah, don't allow that shit, fellas. That's not masculine. So I've just gone on a little divergent there, but yeah, I think that's enough. But you could once you're detached and you care less about the outcome, and you can be playful, then you can be humorous, you can have a little laugh, have a little joke with the energy, and it becomes a little bit more light-hearted. And once again, that's even another thing women are more and more drawn to. So yeah, I'm going to finish on the final one. Focus and drive. The drive to pursue, the drive for a mission. This is why I say very, very important. Don't do this practice if you don't have a mission to pursue. If you're not pursuing anything, you don't have any goals set, you're not chasing something bigger than yourself, there's no point doing this. I'm going to be straight up, because this energy, you're going to have an influx of energy, you're going to have nowhere to put it other than releasing it to fucking porn up or a screen. Like you're going to end up exploding because you have nowhere to put this energy. It needs to be channeled and redirected. This is what this is all about. You're doing this to move your life forward. You're doing this to become magnetic to your future desired reality. And you will do, because you've got an influx of energy and you become more magnetic to the things that you want to attract, because you've got more focus power. It's not because something happens and there's like a force field that draws things in this imaginary field. No, your focus is sharper. You're thinking less about women and more about the mission. This is where it comes from. Your focus, where you focus your attention is where you place your energy. Okay, so if you're focusing less about women, which takes up a massive, massive part of the male psyche, if you subtract that, and you're putting more focus and attention on the mission, what do you think is going to happen? You're putting more energy towards the mission. So you're putting more thought power, so that speeds up the manifestation, and then you're actually taking more action in alignment, so you get to your desired reality way faster. This is how it works. And think about it like this as well. I like to throw the biological spin. So you've got your desire for reproduction. Yeah, that's the lust that's driving and fueling you, and we're speaking about right now. What you're trying to transcend or overcome. That's getting ramped up now because you're abstaining from that. You're taking that away from yourself. So what happens? You want it more. There's more energy to pursue. But instead of pursuing the woman, you just change the target. So the energy you'd use to pursue a hot woman, yeah. Think about the finest woman ever, and she's just so like she's just luring you in with that femininity. She's just the divine beauty that she radiates. She's luring you in with that. But then you replace the woman for the objective, the mission, whatever your life mission is. And if you don't know what your life mission is, I suggest you stop this video and you write that shit down. Exactly how you would like your life to look. Dream big, no limitations, because you can achieve anything you want as long as you put your mind to it. And as long as you put your focus and attention on it and you take the action steps required to get there. So with you eliminating and taking away the woman and replacing that with your mission and your objective, which, by the way, women will come whilst you start heading to this direction, then you'll have way more energy to pursue, and you will speed up your manifestations. You will get to reality quicker. That's why, because you've got this influx of energy and you're putting less focus and attention on sex and sleeping around with women, and more focus on what really matters, which is the mission. So get back to the mission, fellas. And if you don't know where your life is heading and you have no form of direction, get that written down, pen to paper right now, and know exactly where you're heading. Because if you're just getting up every day and you don't know where you're going, you're just wasting energy. You're putting energy in the wrong places. Whereas at least if you get up and you know, listen, I can just make these little micro things, do these little micro things every day, and that's going to move me forward. It's not going to be big fireworks and explosions. Things will happen. Miracles will happen on the way. But you got to be willing to play the long game. Consistency. Just because you get on semen retention don't mean you're going to get it overnight, bro. You need to still put the work in every single day. But use this energy to do that. Because now you can focus and channel that into what really matters, like I just discussed. Right, I'm going to sign out on that one because we're coming up to 18 minutes. Peace, love, see you on the other side. One last note. If you want to know more, I have an ebook down below, boys. It's completely free. I put it all together. Just if you want to think about channeling and redirecting the energy, want to go deep into the practice. I know some lads have asked about what it's like with a woman in a relationship, so speak about that in the ebook as well, so you can have a little look at that. So yeah, that's down below. That's free. If you want to chat to me on a personal level, emails there, and there's a form you can fill out. So yeah, peace and love, and send out on that one. Subscribe for more shit like this, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace, everyone.